Hi, it's the Moonchild Medium back with day 4 of our February series. This is like the February love series. But today, even though this series is going to be for people who, or this reading today is going to be for people who are in some sort of a relationship, a commitment, whether it's monogamous, polyamorous, or whatever, but like the person that you're asking about is someone who you're already in a committed relationship with, then this reading is for you. And even though it is for people in relationships and it's going to cover a lot about romantic love, I'm going to be smoking my open-hearted blend, the herbal blend that I've been smoking for the past couple of readings, because this has really been helping me to set the intention for these readings. And today I woke up and, as I'm filming this, there's a genocide happening in Gaza. And I know that if you're in my channel or you have followed me on other social media platforms, then you are very aware that I am not only not in support of the war in Gaza, of the genocide in Gaza, but I'm very, very it is very important to me. It's something that's like on my mind all the time right now. And so, with all of the reports and the news of things that are going on right now over there, that it's a lot. It's hard to think about, like the individual life, the individualistic mindset, because there are things that are happening on a global level, on a countrywide level, like that are just, they're very intense and they're very painful experiences, human experiences. There's a lot of grief and pain going on right now. And so I am feeling very called to start to expand these readings past just the individualistic mindset. And today we're going to be, although we are going to be exploring advice for your relationship, I'm also going to be exploring advice for your relationships, like with your friends and family, with your community, and with the world at large. Okay, because there's just a lot going on right now. And I do feel that although you are hearing a lot about, or feeling very called to look into your romantic relationships, there's also a lot going on outside of us that needs to be addressed, and they are intertwined. I'm not going to pretend that I know how they're intertwined, but as I do all these tarot readings and as I talk with people, I'm noticing that our connection to our romantic relationships, it does connect us to the relationships outside of those romantic relationships, and ultimately to an even grander scale. So that's why today we're going to be exploring a little bit more. And while I am going to be doing picking the stone, I'm also going to be shuffling this oracle deck, and I'm going to pick one card for each of the 3 piles that we have today. So I'm going to start with the oracle cards. This is going to be a card that will probably give you a little bit of a hint as to what the reading is about, because I always like to talk about the meanings of the things that are associated in the reading. But you can choose like one of these cards also based on anything that calls to you, if it's like a symbolism that you've been seeing a lot recently, or it's just a message that you feel that you need to hear. So for the first pile, let me actually, there we go. All right, so first pile we have Canary Spirit, Sing Your Own Song. If there's anything in that picture that calls to you, that may be significant to you. We also have the number 12, or the number 3 may be significant to you. If that's true, then that may be your pile. And I'm also going to choose a stone over here. We've got the heart howlite. Let me go pick that up. I promise you, I have other stones. I just feel like the same ones keep coming up over and over again. But, you know, I think that we're all really moving through very similar energies right now. So that may be why the same stones keep coming out. But, all right, so for pile number 2, we have Koi Fish Spirit. There is always enough. And that has the number 36 on top. And also if the number 9 is significant to you, then maybe that's for you as well. And then the stone for that one is going to be Tiger's Eye. And finally for pile 3, we have Squirrel Spirit. Believe in yourself. This one is in reverse, so we'll talk about that if this is your pile. It also has the number 57 on it, which ends up being the number 12, which also ends up being the number 3. So I have a feeling some of you are going to be watching the video the whole way through just because we've got so many 3s and 9s in here. But again, it's up to you whether you want to choose one pile, 2 piles, 3 piles. It's whatever you feel called to. And then, you know, if you're polyamorous, then you might have multiple partners that, you know, these might all apply to you in some way. And then finally, for the 3rd pile, let me grab the final stone. And we have the amethyst point. I feel like this has come out like at least 3 different times since I started this February series. But here we are. I'm going to show you all 3 piles so you can take a look for yourself. All right. Feel free to pause. I'm going to put the timestamps in the description and we'll go ahead and get right into it. All right, pile number 1, we have the howlite in this heart shape. And if you've chosen it before in a previous reading, you've heard me talk about how howlite is very good for setting healthy boundaries, not just with other people, but also with yourself. In a previous reading, I have seen it as like a warning that someone is almost like holding too many, has too many walls up around their heart, preventing them from being open-hearted. So if that was you and you've chosen this before and you've been there before, then like you've chosen this stone and seen the reading that I did a couple days ago with that, then welcome back. And if that's not you, if you haven't watched that reading and this is the first time that this stone is resonating with you in this series of love readings that I'm doing over February, then stay tuned, because I do feel that, you know, I've had a couple new subscribers as I've started this series, and so I do feel that I am picking up on some more energy as well. And so I'm kind of excited to see what this howlite stone is going to mean to you. Now we have the canary spirit. I'm going to go ahead and read that from the book. I'm feeling like some of you are musicians, or you're very good with your voice, or the way that you speak is kind of sing-songy. Canary Spirit arrives to help you find your authentic voice and express what is in your heart. Free yourself to experience your inner light and let it shine, as Canary Spirit sings to remind you of your inherent joy and to support you as you sing your own song. Now is the time to let the world know who you really are. Canary Spirit's message is that you are free to be yourself and express your most cherished desires. The world wants to hear your song. If your inquiry is about a relationship, you're being called to fully be yourself, for only then will you find harmony and joy. You can make music with others so beautifully when your note rings true. All right. So obviously we are dealing with an energy of needing to speak your truth and to be your most authentic self in your relationship. All right. So far, if that's resonating with you, then I'm going to go ahead and get a quick description of who you are, and then I'll get a description of who your partner is, and we'll get a little bit of advice about your relationship, okay? Alright, Spirit. Who is watching pile number 1? Who needs the medicine of the Howlite and the Canary Spirit? Who needs to be authentic in their relationships? Who is this watching pile number 1? Please give me a description. We have the Lovers. You cannot make this stuff up. Okay, so you are the Lovers. That is who you are as a person. And so what's interesting about the Lovers card is it's not just about two different people or a romantic relationship. It's really about it's a lot of mirroring energy. So you seem to be a very self-reflective person and somebody who also causes other people around you to reflect. You may be someone who, when you speak, you are very purposeful about the way that you speak, the words that you choose, or maybe like you have just learned how to speak in moderation, or something like that. You learn to listen. You listen very well. And you are in a state of love. You maybe could have been called idealistic for your views on love and on life. I feel like you're somebody who, at least at this point in your life, has decided that you want to choose love for yourself, for others, for the world around you, for the earth itself. So I feel that because of that, oftentimes that is why you reflect to other people things about themselves that maybe they don't like. And it's also sometimes you reflect things that they do like. But I do feel that maybe you're even a very polarizing person. Like your personality could be someone that, either like people love you or they hate you. Like either people revere you to the point that they're like, wow, you are the most magical person, the wisest person, the funniest person, the best person I've ever known. Or the opposite, they kind of villainize you. If that, and I do feel like in relation to this Canary Spirit card that we pulled, I feel that that's why you may struggle to be your true authentic self around people, because you've been rejected so hardcore by so many people that to put yourself out there again is oftentimes very scary. You don't know how people are going to react to you. And that causes pain. That's hurtful. So it's natural for anyone to kind of like think twice when they've been really, really knocked down like that by people. But I definitely see you as somebody who is very self-aware, or tries to be. and also very connected to spirit. If that resonates with you, then stick around. We're doing the rest, okay? Now I'm going to ask about a description of the person you're in a relationship with. Okay, yeah, we've got the Eight of Cups. Eight of Cups came out like this, sideways. So I'm going to kind of give you both sides of it, because it seems like maybe your person, the person that you're in a relationship with, they're kind of avoidant. However, they're aware of it at this point in time. And I do think that they care about how it affects other people, and they are trying to take steps to change that. However, this seems like it's a long journey for them, and it's like they're not exactly, you know, where they would like to be or where you would like them to be. And oftentimes when somebody who is has a very polarizing personality, when they get together with somebody who's like a very avoidant person, this person with the very polarizing personality, they can show the avoidant person things in themselves that they don't like. However, if somebody is not in the right space to receive it, to receive that like self-reflection, you know, the reflection that comes back at them from you, they would probably be more likely to blame you for how they feel, rather than see how they are noticing something within themselves that they don't like. Okay, so I do feel like this has been an issue in your relationship, and you may be here because there's like difficulty reconnecting with this person. Like they've almost like kept you at arm's length for a little while, and now like they're trying to make up for it in some ways. And yeah, so I feel like that's why you're being called to be your most authentic self and speak your truth at this time. Not just speak your truth, but just like be your truth, be yourself, in ways that you haven't felt like you could be. I'm going to go ahead and grab my Manara deck that we've been using for some of these love readings, and I'm going to see what the state of your relationship is right now and the advice moving forward. Okay, Spirit. What's the state of the relationship of the Lover and the Eight of Cups? The Lover watching pile one and the Eight of Cups. We have the Justice card coming out. And we have the King of Air, which is like King of Swords. There's more balance coming into this connection, and there is a lot of there's a lot that's being cut away. Maybe like good communication beginning to happen, like not just good communication, like solid, strong communication. One or both of you could have, like, there's like Leo and Aquarius energy in these cards. Someone is gaining their confidence, it seems like. It seems like whoever of you, now I'm not a believer that in every relationship there's a divine masculine and a divine feminine. But I do believe that in this connection, there is someone who displays more feminine, intuitive traits, and the other one who displays more masculine, like intelligent traits. And what I mean by that is that one of you is maybe someone who like believes in spirituality a little bit more. And so you're more the I'm saying you because I do believe it's you watching this pile. You are more of the type of person who, regardless of your gender or your sexual orientation or whatever, that you are somebody who you do have a very strong connection to the divine, maybe like some psychic gifts and things that you know you're very aware of, spiritual practices maybe that you're very grounded in. And so I sense you as being somebody who like more can just, you'd be like the person who'd be like, let's wait and see. Let's wait and see what happens. Okay, we're gonna do this thing. Okay, we did it, and now let's wait and see. And the like, you're okay with things being up in the air because you have this like genuine faith in the divine. And then I see this other person as being someone who is, when I say in their masculine and like about intelligence, it's like really like the way that they think. The way that they think is very business minded, or like they could be someone who like is very like law minded, like maybe at some point, if they are not like a lawyer or in business, like a business person already, that they're somebody has said like, oh, you would be a good lawyer. Like they know how to talk, how to argue. And I do sense that like in some ways them knowing how to talk and argue has manifested itself in like them over talking you or dismissing things that you like that are your truth, things that you had to say based on like maybe it's like some gaslighting energy. Maybe they're good at that, or just maybe they like, yeah, they know how to, they kind of know how to get their way with the way that they speak. But I do feel like you are coming more into balance. You've seen this about them, and now you're challenging them. And I feel like in your challenging them, it's like you're looking at them like, I'm putting you in check, and they're looking at you like, you see what I do? You know, like they kind of think it's a fun game. This like word play, you know. Yeah, but I do see there being, in the justice card, there is like finally justice for you in this relationship, from all the gaslighting or the avoidant behaviors that they display, because they're finally seeing kind of like what their part it has been in all of this. And then some advice moving forward. Spirit, please. Some advice for this relationship. We have the Empress in reverse, and we have the, oh, I just remembered I'm not really supposed to be showing these on camera because they just like, some of them are super raunchy. In a way that I absolutely love, but let's try to keep it a little more PG-13. So I'm just going to describe the next card. It's the Four of Wands, or the Four of Fire. So having the Empress in reverse, this is saying like that you are not really waiting enough, that there's like an aspect of patience that you have to be like kind of in control of the situation, and instead of allowing it to be in control of you. And I don't mean that you are being controlling in this situation, but just more that you have like some sort of authority or respect in all of this. I feel that you've probably kind of, you know, given them ultimatums before about like what, maybe about being in a relationship with them, or you know, like, I feel that you've kind of put your foot down with them about like their behaviors, their avoidant behaviors. That there is a sense of like that you have to wait and let things play out. But I do see that if you do wait and let things play out, that there's a lot of happy, harmonious energy in this. And if what you're looking for from this relationship is more intimate, sensual, and sexual connection, I do see that beginning to form, in whatever way that looks like for you. okay? But this does take some sort of waiting. Like waiting for them, because they're an avoidant person. If you keep going like, I'm waiting for you to do this, I'm waiting, like if you keep kind of like pushing the issue, it will drive that away. So that's why the advice is to like, it's like the Empress is someone who sits and attracts. When they manifest, they don't go out and do the things. They don't like complete actions to get what they want. They just wait. And so you're being called to wait and to just give it some time, okay? Remember, we're moving through this energy, so I'm really excited to see what the end of February brings with this kind of like relationship energy, because I do see this, like it feels like it's taken a long time to get here, but there is momentum happening in this connection already. It's really about your mindset. It's about your mindset. Okay? So that's what I have for you on the relationship front. And so I would like to branch out to ask Spirit about your friends, your relationship to friends and family at this time. We're going to take this kind of as an evolution process, because we started with your romantic relationship, and I just want to see how that affects and branches out to your friends and family, the people who are closest to you. All right, this is great. You have a Six of Wands. Okay, I feel that everything that you've learned and are learning as a result of having to deal with this relationship are bringing some sort of a big triumph for you, or they have caused like a great victory for you. Even if it's been kind of a long and bumpy ride, is kind of how I feel for you in this relationship. I do think that you have, because of this, it's kind of pushed you to lean on friends and family a little more, and that you have actually learned how to be a more authentic version of yourself with them. I also find it interesting that the Lovers card is associated with the number 6, and we have the Six of Wands. I don't think that that's a coincidence. I don't think that's a coincidence. All right, Spirit, give us a little bit of clarification on this Six of Wands. I'm going to use the mini Witches Tarot for this one. It's been a couple readings since I've used her, so I feel like there's some good messages coming out of here. What is this Six of Wands about? Please clarify this. All right, we have the Four of Swords in reverse. I feel that you have actually been a little bit tired and needing to rest, and so you've been embracing the energy of being vulnerable with your friends and your family. You've asked for help, you've asked for advice, you've done what you needed to do. So I do think that this is related to you being burnt out and actually relying on other people. All right, Spirit, what is the advice moving forward regarding friends and family? Because it seems like you're doing well on that front already. We have the Six of Cups. So many sixes. 6 is a number of romance, love, but it's not just like, it's not romantic love necessarily, like between partners all the time necessarily. It could be friends and family. So it's a relationship number. 6 is a relationship number. This is a relationship reading. You have so many 6s coming out. I love it. Okay, you also have the Five of Wands in reverse, the Queen of Swords in reverse, and there's another one that fell out kind of like upside down, so I'm going to read that in a second because I'm going to look at these other ones. I just have a feeling that this one is going to like tie it in, you know, what the all the advice is right now, because we have the Six of Cups in reverse, which to me speaks of like some inner child work that needs to be done. And since we're talking about family, I do think that there is like an issue having to do with like something that happened in your childhood that you still carry around or you've been working through. Then we have the Five of Wands in reverse. This is like arguments, trickery, opposition. And then the Queen of Swords in reverse is like someone who is deceitful or has a sharp tongue and the way that they speak to people. So I feel like this is something that you're being called to look at within yourself. When we talk about inner child work, is the way that you engage in conflict, and the way that you express yourself, especially verbally or like in a written form as well. Interesting. We also have the Seven of Wands in reverse. Seven of Wands to me is a card of like clearing away the old to make way for the new, especially when it's in reverse. Okay, because it really also like talks a lot about like arguments, like verbal arguments. I think that you may have had an argument with somebody, or like maybe you're someone who's like prone to arguing a lot with your family or your friends, and like you are being called to watch the words that you say. It's specific to the words that you say. I think that's what it is. We have enough cards here about conflict, but that like we have one that is specific to conflicts, which is this one, right? And in this one there's conflict, but it's specifically verbal conflict. And this one is about the way that you speak, okay? About it being kind of aggressive or something like that, like your tone. Yeah, so Spirit, can you please clarify this whole message? I just want like one clarifying card for this message, or like one clarifying message. All right, we have the Seven of Cups in reverse, which to me talks about having a realistic thinking. I'm just gonna go out on a limb right now because I feel like that some of you have had verbal conflicts with somebody like in your family, especially like your actual like blood relative family, not just the chosen family. But like you have had, it's like someone related to your childhood, and you are actually thinking very realistically about this situation. But just need to choose the way that like your words a little more carefully. That's what I think. For some of you, if it's not about having an argument with like someone in your family, I do feel that like when it comes to the people that you engage with, like in your friend and family circle, that although you may actually clearly be able to see how you're in the right for whatever reason, you do still need to watch the way that you say it. Okay, you've heard that saying before. It's not what you say, it's how you say it. So I really think that that's the advice about your current your friends and family relationships. And I think that it's interesting that didn't really come out in the relationship with the lover, and I just want to distinguish that because I feel like maybe the person that you're in a relationship with, that they have actually accused you of speaking aggressively or whatever, and that's like kind of like the reason that they use for their avoidance. And this might not resonate for everybody, but I do feel like it's gonna resonate enough for some people that I have to say this. That there's a reason that didn't come out, the whole thing about being aggressive or arguing in the wrong way or whatever, that didn't come out in the reading with the lover, with the actual partner that you're in a relationship with. What came out was more that, like, you were starting to realize how they were using their words against you, and how now, or like, how they were just being avoidant of you, but like, now how you just have to wait, right? I just don't see this being related, or meaning they are related. I just want to put this out there to you because I feel that like you have been actually put down for the way that you speak to people. And this is, I think that this is again why we have the canary spirit coming up, about like, being your most authentic self. I think you are still being called to speak your truth, but you're just learning you're learning for the first time how to really express yourself, because I think that you've no matter how old you are, you could be like significantly older than me or significantly younger than me, or we could be the same age. Who cares? Like, no matter what age you are, it feels like you've kind of gone through like a whole lifetime of just not knowing how to communicate well because you didn't have good role models. And so that has affected you either like in people being able to manipulate you or to speak down to you, and also maybe you have done a little bit of that yourself. So there's something there to take a look at, and then I want to explore how does that relate to the way that you show up in your community. What's your relationship to your community? What is pile one's relationship to their community, to their larger community? Not the friends and family, but the larger community. First things that came out were the Three of Wands and Temperance in reverse. We also have Judgment and the King of Pentacles. So I feel like in the community at large, like around you, you mostly engage in a business type way. Like you may be someone who's just like very plugged into the business world where you are, or you, excuse me, you may be someone who like only leaves your house, or you're like a small little, excuse me. That came out of nowhere. What's interesting is like, that kind of stuff happens to me when I'm doing a reading, like physical things will manifest themselves. Not to me, that like coughing, like feels like I'm choking a little bit, like it feels like I'm choking a little bit, and I do feel like maybe you sometimes have a difficulty saying what you want to say. Like you will start saying things and it doesn't come out the way you think it will, or something like that. And it's interesting that that's happening when I'm talking about like the business aspect of this reading. There's like, I feel that, maybe you only leave your little community, your little like family situation. You kind of only leave your comfort zone to go out and do business type of stuff. Maybe you only go to work and then come back and do whatever you have to do at home, or you like keep to yourself a little bit more. You're not really like engaging with the neighborhood around you so much. And if you do, it's like more in like a naturey aspect, like you're more just like going out there to admire nature, or like, you know, just not be inside. um there's not a lot of socialness to this part of the reading. I do feel like you are in an energy more where you're just like surveying, you're taking stock of your options, and you're taking stock of the landscape around you. But I feel like there is, even though you are someone who could normally be very balanced and grounded, right now there's a feeling of not being balanced or grounded in the community at large. So you feel maybe like uncomfortable with what you're seeing, and I don't think that you really like it. I think that's why the Judgment card is coming up. I feel that, like, first of all, that you do judge what happens in your community quite a lot. But you also, the Judgment card is not just about judgment, it's also about resurrection. And I do think that you, while you judge it, while you feel uncomfortable with it, while you're still in a mode of like surveilling what's going on around you, you're also in a period where you're pretty solid in your ability to create abundance for yourself. And I think not just yourself, I think that you're like someone who could be like in a managerial position, or a business owner, or someone who's working towards those things. But like you do it in a like slower and steadier way. So you are someone who has the potential of actually resurrecting in your community what you would like to see in the world around you, not just in your community but the world at large. And let's see, I think I want to grab this other deck actually. What is the advice? What's the advice for how to engage with their community? What's the advice, Spirit, for how Pile 1 should be engaging with their community? Right away, I'm seeing the Strength card, especially in relation to where you feel uncomfortable and unbalanced, but where you're also trying to build sustainability. I see the Hanged One in reverse. This is really about needing to take a different perspective, a different approach. There is still a lot of waiting and surveilling in this whole thing. But there's also there's a call to be very, very authentic in the Hanged One, especially upside down, because this person is like very unconventional. They do things their own way. But they are also very connected to spirit, to the divine, and are waiting for the divine to give instruction. So I think that you are actually right where you're supposed to be when it comes to your relationship to the community around you. But I would say that where you're moving from is like from a place where maybe you're someone who has seen activism as something that it's like you're supposed to be going out and like yelling at people and doing, you know, all the marches and all that. And for some people that's what they got to do. But I feel that your strength is actually in like approaching things from a gentler way. Maybe even like at work, for example, if the way that you're engaging with the community around you is mostly at work, then this would be, instead of like constantly complaining about everything that's going on at work, you would take a gentler approach, and like on this like quiet resolution, this quiet confidence about you. But I feel like this is a skill that you're cultivating, not just at like work, if that's, you know, the only way that you're engaging with the community around you. But I feel that this is a necessary skill that you're cultivating now, because since you're in a period of waiting and having to see things from a different perspective and having to cultivate this like gentle strength within yourself and learn how to become more you know, grounded and sure of how to influence the community around you. In that sense, I do think that you're cultivating this, you know, like these new skills, or like you're just waiting to be in the right place for spirit to finally say like, okay, go do this thing, and then you'll, you know, all the issues that you're seeing in the community around you, you'll actually find ways to help them and to affect them. And I think that you are being called to in your community to see things from that different perspective and have that quiet, gentle strength, because you are preparing to do something that will aid your community on a whole. But some things are a little bit more urgent than what's going on in our community. So I do want to ask, what is your relationship to the world around you? Before we ask about what the advice is, what is pile one's relationship to the world? We have the sun in reverse. We have the strength. Okay. You are taking a stance right now that is very gently strong. Like you are standing in that gentle strength. Remaining very spiritually minded and open-minded. However, there is also some sadness, depression, and some issues from your childhood that are coming into play here that you do have to address. So I'm going to ask about that as well. What is the advice for pile one moving forward regarding their relationship with the world? We have 9 of Wands in reverse. Stop fighting. But not in a way, I'm going to say that that's not like stop fighting for something that you know is right. It's more like stop fighting your feelings. Stop fighting yourself. Stop fighting your body. Stop fighting all these invisible forces. Like, I feel like, you know, the energy that I was getting from the Temperance card in reverse, and like talking about your local community, is this like feeling of despair, and so like it has you scattered. It's like you could feel like everything is wrong, so it's like, okay, I'm gonna go do this, and maybe that'll help. I'll go do that, maybe that'll help. I'll go do that, maybe that'll help. But meanwhile, nothing's getting accomplished, and you're just getting really, really tired. So that's what it means by stop fighting. We've got the Queen of Pentacles. There's a lot of need for self-care right now. And when we're talking about self-care in relation to the way that we, to our relationship to the world, it's important to have some sort of boundaries. Okay, we're talking about boundaries. It is important to have some sort of boundaries, okay? While it's important to stay up on current events, and it's important to care about things that are outside of ourselves, the only way we can do that is if we're also taking care of ourselves, okay? So there is a need for you to take care of yourself in a way that actually helps you to show up in a global way, okay? We've got the Ace of Pentacles. This being a gift that is offered, gift of material wealth. It is something material or physical, and you do have something material or physical to offer the world. And so in order to be able to do that, you have to actually stop pulling yourself in all these different directions and fighting all these invisible forces, really, and pour into yourself, because there is a gift that you have to give the world at large. Spirit, what is this gift that you are calling them to give? What is this material gift? We have Page of Pentacles in reverse. Two of Wands. And the shadow side in reverse. The shadow side is like the Devil card, which really, it also has a lot of 6 energy because it's the number 15, 1 and 5 go together. They make 6. This is a new relationship that you're creating with the world. I think that you're freeing yourself from this. What I'm seeing is like freeing yourself from this mentality of, you know, having to go with the trends of what people are upset about, or what how they're choosing to help a cause, or you know, like there's a lot of, we've you know, heard about cancel culture being, you know, something that we can all get caught up in. We can all decide like, oh, this person is really bad, that person's really bad, so therefore, you know, I'm boycotting this, I'm boycotting that. And like, I think what you're really being called to is not to get so distracted by, you know, we're boycotting this and we're boycotting that, but to be very purposeful and methodical and thought out about the way that you help the global situation. You're not helping it by getting caught in all of the distractions. So I think that that's where you are right now in your relationship to the world, is you're actually being called to transcend the distractions and really be grounded in yourself and the way that you choose to show up in the world, and the way that, you know, like showing up in a way that you actually can, that is sustainable for you. Okay, so that is the energy that you're moving through today. When we're tying it back to, you know, all of this back to the Canary spirit, I really want to say, like, you know, when it comes to the romantic relationship, you know, you're being called to stand in the truth of who you are, not letting anyone continue to gaslight you, right? When it comes to your friends and family, again, it's like you're not letting anyone continue to gaslight you, but it is choosing your words wisely and being careful about your tone. Then when we move on to your, you know, the community that you live in, I am seeing this, you know, that that you are learning how to use your tone in a gentler way. And I think that all correlates to the global, your relationship with the world, because you are learning that the anger and the way that you speak to people, it hasn't really been productive, and it hasn't really been helping anybody, and it's kind of been a little bit selfish and all about you. But I do think that you're seeing how you can actually have a greater effect on change and on the global situation, and really on every aspect of on every area of your life and every aspect of your life, if you stop getting distracted by what's right and wrong, what people should and shouldn't be doing, and you simply just stand in your truth. Okay, being your most authentic self is not just being like super quirky and all that. It's also being someone who's like, I'm not gonna like let myself get pulled in all these different directions when they're not actually serving me or anyone or anyone else, but you know, like looking at the way that you show up so that you're not allowing yourself to get pulled in all the different directions, but you are channeling your strength. You're channeling your strength into the one direction that actually you can have an effect on. We can't affect everything, but there are some things you can affect. And so I think that you're in a period where you're kind of learning where your efforts are going to be the most effective. And instead of like doing what everyone else thinks you should be doing, you know, for like the global situation or your local community or whatever, you are learning to channel it in a gentle strength. Okay, that's what I have for you today. Remember, we're moving through some energy, so like, comment, subscribe, share the video, whatever you can do to imprint your energy onto this so that I can continue to pick up on your energy and help us all move through this this heaviness together and affect some greater change within ourselves and the world around us. All right, so I will see you at our next reading. Goodbye. Thank you for joining pile 2. If you're here, you chose the tiger's eye. Very protective, very grounding, very powerful. We also have Koi Fish Spirit as your animal spirit card. There's always enough. I'm going to read this for you, but I do want to talk about the numbers 3 and 6. Because 3 is a number of growth, expansion, evolution. 6 is a number of relationships, of love, not just romantic, but just like all relationships and all love. Together they make 9, which is a number of great intuition and abundance, benevolence. It's the number of the witch, the path of the witch, the healer, the herbalist. I do feel that your intuition is definitely getting stronger and growing each and every day. I feel that you are evolving as a person and that your relationships overall are evolving as well. That you are seeing not just your relationship, your romantic relationships as being important, but you're also seeing your relationship to your ancestors and your spirit guides as important. Your friends and your family, you're connecting with them more. I feel like you care about your community, you care about what's going on in the world. Whether you know what to do or not, you care, and you are evolving very rapidly and growing in the area of relationships. And that by doing this, it's really that open-heartedness, which is why you are also your intuition is increasing as well, because when our hearts are open, like we manifest from our heart center, we do everything from the heart center. And so when you begin to open your heart to your relationships more, then your heart opens more, and by doing so your intuition also deepens and strengthens. So I'm going to read what the message is from Koi Fish Spirit, and it says, "The koi fish, who grows big within a small pond, reminds us that within each of us is the potential for prosperity. The law of abundance ensures that prosperity is our natural state. So regardless of temporary outer conditions, you can call in prosperity and magnetically attract the opportunities and abundance you need. The message of Koi Fish Spirit is to begin to generate wealth within with deliberate intention, no matter how small your pond may seem, and appreciate the abundance wherever you see it. Outer conditions will come to reflect your inner prosperity, so begin to become the self who is comfortable with wealth in all forms, even if at the moment it feels as if riches are not yours. They soon will be. Start to envision the plenty that Spirit wants you to experience, knowing that the moment you begin to commit to conscious and deliberate co-creating, Spirit will joyfully start bringing you what you need. You have so much to offer and so much of value to express to the world. In your little pond, there is so much you can create and much you can attract. Do not underestimate what you have and who you are. For Koi Fish Spirit wants you to know that you are exquisite, loved, and deeply cherished. Trust that outer conditions are changing to reflect that truth." I love that, because I was just talking about manifesting and how we manifest from the heart. And this really is talking about manifesting, how when you start to believe something in here in the heart, that's when it starts to come true, and it becomes a truth in your inner world before you see it in your outer world. And that really is true. I've experienced that for myself. I think that you have experienced that on some level, and so that's why you are continuing to open your heart to the world around you. That's why you are actually consciously co-creating right now. And I do see that you are looking outside of yourself and outside of the small pond that you live in. Okay, so we're going to talk about that a little bit more as the reading goes on. I'm going to go ahead and get a description of who you are so that we know that you're in the right reading. And if you're not, then maybe another pile would resonate better with you. But I do feel that you're in a very grounded state as a person. And you may be a water sign or an earth sign from what I'm seeing. The truth is, you could be any, like fire or air too. It doesn't have to be water or earth, but you are at least in a very watery, like go with the flow, and also emotional, intuitive energy, but you're also very grounded. All right, so Spirit, please tell us who pile number 1 is. Who is pile number 1? Who's watching this? Who needs to know that there is always enough, or who knows that there's always enough? Who is looking outside of their small pond? Ooh, we have the Empress in reverse. Like I said, you are someone who's very intuitive. You manifest very easily. But right now you're in a moment where you're learning to sit and wait and attract instead of going. I feel that in the past, you have actually been someone who you are very magnetic, very attractive, very abundant. You have a very like fertile energy to you, whatever that means to you when I say that. And people admire you a lot. But I think that you have kind of been trapped into thinking that you need to always be doing to achieve. So you've gotten in your own way when manifesting in the past, because you have like kind of like put the manifestation out there, said, I'm trying to manifest this. And then then after that, instead of like forgetting it, you keep thinking about that thing. You keep going like, okay, well, and now I'm going to manifest this, and now I'm going to manifest this. And there's a time and a place for doing. Always, there's a time and a place for doing. But right now, for you, you are learning how to attract. Which is interesting because the Koi Spirit, we read about the law of attraction. So you are learning about that a lot. This is not the first time you hear it. This may be the third time you hear it, actually, like in a row. Today, even, or in the past few weeks or something, or like you can easily count the last 3 times someone has said that to you about the law of attraction. And like, I feel we're going to talk about that a little bit more, because I feel that you definitely, while you're learning about the law of attraction, there's been a lot of information and misinformation that gets put out there about the law of attraction and about a lot of spiritual aspects. So I feel like that's why you've been a little bit like up and down about it, or confused about it in some way. And it's been a learning curve for you to learn about the law of attraction in a way that is actually real, and not just like somebody on TikTok telling you that if you don't love yourself, then you're not going to be able to attract love into your life. That's just not true. So I feel that you have been almost maybe even stuck in a mode of like self-improvement to the point of it's like it's a trap. Like you've been stuck on this cycle of self-improvement. Self-improvement is important to you. Self-awareness is important to you. But I do think that you are aware at this point that there's a way to overdo that, and that you kind of know that you've been overdoing it a little bit. And you're trying to learn how to come back into harmony with the spirit of, or the frequency, with the frequency and the vibration of attracting and manifesting. Okay, so if that resonates with you, then let's go ahead and grab a card about the partner that you're inquiring about. There was definitely one that came out very quickly. Two of them. Ooh, lovely. Okay, we have the Seven of Pentacles and the Queen of Cups in reverse. The person who you are in a relationship with is very like money minded, like business minded. Maybe like they do have abundance in their life, but it's like more like projects that are up in the air, that are about to produce something, that they're about to give, a paycheck or a payday. But it hasn't really, like, while it's something that isn't like, it's like not in the bank account yet, but the work has been done. So like they're just like waiting to get paid, basically. Somebody who maybe like has put a lot of effort into creating financial stability or abundance in some way, or like material abundance, material stability, comfort. This could be also someone who's very protective, and like observant. They're also very intuitive themselves, though I think that they're not very much in touch with that knowledge that they're intuitive. I think that they more like move from intuition, but they're not maybe like as spiritual about it as some people would be, because they're more grounded in this material realm. They're more thinking about, money, material comforts, luxuries, like just like feeling good in this life. They are someone who's like a provider. So like that's just like the way that they operate, is everything is just thinking about how they're cultivating stability. And stability to them really means material stability, material wealth. So I do feel that while they have many big emotions, they're not very in control of them, or maybe not in touch with them very much. And so that's why they're not like, oh, I'm moving from intuition. This is what, my gut tells me. Like, they're not like that at all. They're just like, they're someone who would be content to follow a formula, I think. Just because they have like so much going on inside, that whenever they don't have to be like intensely analyzing something, they don't want to. They're just not going to. They are someone who I see being more content with being outside, outdoors. They could be someone who likes to do like landscaping, gardening, like for fun or relaxation, or even for some sort of business. But they have a lot of qualities that are similar to you, because you're both very abundant people. Like, you're both very fertile people. You could both be young, like very, very young. Or you could just be like people who have like good ideas in business, and I could see you as being the person who has maybe like the bigger ideas. Like I'm thinking like big fish, little pond. And then this person, it's not so much that they're like a big fish in a little pond. They definitely have like things about them that are very big, big fish, little pond like vibe, like very, very intelligent, maybe, and very intelligent and driven, in ways that it's like, well, they wouldn't really thrive or get along well in a small city. I mean, sure, they'd be fine, but it's like that's not where they want to be. Maybe someone who actually likes to live a faster paced life, like they might like to live like in a place that is like more suburban, like they have access to like city type of life so they can like, you know, go to work and do their business stuff. But then they like also spend a lot of time outside, or they, you know, like it could be like something like that. But overall, I just feel like this person is more grounded in the material realm and not so much in touch with their emotions. But they do have a lot of emotions, that you can see, even if they don't know how to express them, or they don't even, like, some people are not aware that they're feeling certain emotions. So this person, it could be that they're like, you know, just a straight cis man. Or it also could be that they're a neurodivergent person, because that happens with, like, you know, neurodivergent people, is like not being able to necessarily identify what their emotions are, even though they have a lot of them, and they would be like a little bit more practical minded. So, and obviously that's not for every neurodivergent, but that is going to be the case for some of them. So I just want to acknowledge that, because I don't want to just be like, oh, this is just like a straight man, you know, like it could be like any number of reasons why this person is the way that they are. And so then I want to now just grab a little bit of advice on, no, I want to get the state of the relationship right now, and then grab a little bit of advice on next steps, or like what to do moving forward. Feeling a little bit called to blow some of this smoke on here, because I'm feeling like there's definitely a need for open-heartedness in this relationship. And maybe not even because of like arguments or anything, but just like maybe you both need to be a little bit more in touch with your intuitive side. What's the current state of the relationship? All right, we have the Nine of Water, which is the Nine of Cups in reverse. There's definitely some shadow like energy in this relationship right now. I feel that it's kind of hard for either of you to shine right now. There's like you both are very, very brilliant people. You're both have a lot to offer, and I think that you both want to share. But it's almost like this is a relationship of two avoidant people, or something like, or two emotionally unavailable people. Yeah, I think that's what I'm feeling. It's like two emotionally unavailable people, and you want to connect, but it's like the connection that you had initially is so superficial. Maybe it was based off of something sexual. Maybe it was based off of just the fact that you both kind of like love bombed each other in the beginning, or like it just seemed exciting at first. I do feel like it seemed exciting at first. Maybe like you connected in more of like a party atmosphere, or like yeah, maybe party atmosphere, or maybe even at work or something. And so the connection, I feel like, is like very, very, it feels kind of empty and emotionally unavailable. I'm gonna grab the Mini Witches Tarot because I feel like this is gonna give me a little more insight. Spirit, give me some clarification on this Nine of Water, the Nine of Cups. I feel like there's some disorganized attachment styles or disorganized energy in this relationship. I'm just going to say that. Oh, that flew out. All right, we've got the Two of Cups in reverse. I think some of you are wondering if this relationship is worth it, is worth being in. And you've been asking, like, should I move on to someone new? Should I continue investing in this? But yeah, it just feels like very empty vibes. Very empty vibes. Anything else you want to say? Okay, it can't be that empty because the Ace of Cups came out. And this is upright. So there is a lot of fulfillment. There's a lot of fulfillment in this relationship. I feel like you question whether it's enough, and like it really is whatever you make of it. It's like this, it's not about whether the relationship itself is good enough, but you do question whether the relationship is good enough. It's just more that I think you're not content, you're discontent with the life that you're living. And so I do think that it comes out in ways where you're like blaming the relationship for it. Yeah, I feel like that's exactly what's going on. I feel like you are questioning the relationship. You blame the relationship a lot for like your discontentedness, and you almost like maybe look at your partner like, why don't you want more? And like, why are you so content just like doing that thing, like, you know, working on your business, or, you know, being outside, or whatever their things are. Like, they seem like kind of content doing their things, and I feel that you're discontent, and there's like a feeling of emptiness, but I do feel that you blame it on the relationship, and it's not really the relationship. So I want to get a little more clarification on that. Spirit, if it's not the relationship that's the problem, then what is it that is making pile 1 or pile 2 feel that this is so empty? saw a card come out, but she's hiding from me. There it is. Queen of Pentacles. Anything else you want to say? Queen of Pentacles is the queen of self-care. Interesting. You have the Two of Swords that came up. Swords being about discernment. Two is like choices that need to be made. There's two choices. And I do think you're like, should I stay with the old person or move on to a new person? I do feel like there is this like, should I stay with the old or move on to the new? And I just want you to know, like, you don't really have to, like, you don't, like, love doesn't work like that, where, like, you know, you just, like, go, you know, like, you go, like, oh, should I wear this outfit or that outfit? It doesn't, it's not like that. But I do feel like maybe that's, like, some, like, that's some thinking that maybe you're battling right now, honestly. I think it's a little bit more than that, though. Yeah, no, it is that. Eight of Swords in reverse. You're definitely, it's like you getting in your own way, to be honest. It's you getting in your own way. It's your own thinking getting in the way right now. Of like feeling like you have to choose maybe between the relationship and like something else. I feel like it's like you're not feeling fulfilled. So you feel like you have to leave the relationship behind to seek fulfillment. Please clarify the Queen of Pentacles. Clarify the Queen of Pentacles, please. Okay, for the Queen of Pentacles, the clarification, we have the Four of Swords. So, like, you really need to take some time out, rest, and, like, actually replenish yourself. And I feel that there's, like, an air of codependency here, honestly. I feel like you're seeking something from this person or this relationship that you really should be giving to yourself. I feel like rest is definitely one of those things. Is there anything else, Spirit, that they should be giving themselves? Oh. Wow, okay. We have Five of Wands. That's like competition. Queen of Swords is like discernment, wisdom. Ten of Pentacles in reverse. Ten of Pentacles is like your dreams and like, you know, wealth, comfort, the things that you want for your home. I'm hearing like ancestral home as I'm saying that. King of Cups. It's very very intuitive, actually, very intuitive. Very wise, stable in their emotions, although their emotions can be tumultuous. We've got the Two of Pentacles, which could be like a message, it could be like choices that need to be made, but definitely having to do with like material and like earthiness, groundedness. And then we have the shadow side, which is the Devil, something that you're kind of like feeling trapped in. Yeah, I feel like you feel trapped and that you're kind of feeling like you have to pick one thing or the other in order to like really be in your power and to actualize your dreams. And there may be something, about a competition, either that you feel competitive with this person, or you notice that they feel competitive with you. Or it also may have to do like something with, like an actual competition for you. That, like you're trying to decide if this is like, something that you should invest in because, it might, reflect, it might affect your relationship in some way. But I feel like with all of these like doubts and questions that you have, there is definitely a need to take care of yourself for a moment. Just like so that you can actually almost like get in touch with what your actual needs are. Again, I think that you're blaming the relationship or the person for your needs not being met, but that you do have needs, and you do have needs that need to be met, but you need to be the one meeting those needs. It's not your partner's fault that they're not met. That's what I feel is going on in the relationship right now, and I just want to get some advice on how to move forward. All right, we have 8 of air, which is 8 of swords in reverse. 8 of swords in reverse. Seeing the ways in which you're blocking yourself or which you're running away from something. A lot of Jupiter energy here. We also have Gemini in there. We have Aries energy in the Emperor. Interesting that the Aries energy is coming up because, and the Emperor, because they're, when we're talking about the 5 of Wands, it could be like conflict, not just competition, but conflict. It seems like healthy conflict, though. The Emperor is talking about taking responsibility for the things that you need to do. So it's like I said, like there's some things that you need to get done for yourself in order for you to feel fulfillment, and that has nothing to do with the relationship. So before you make any kinds of moves on the relationship, you need to address your thinking and where your lack mindset is. I feel that you need to actually be pouring into yourself right now. And, you may be hearing a lot about how people need to, because I know I am, you may be hearing a lot about how people need to come out of this individualistic mindset that's like in Western society. So then the tendency there would be to have this very binary thinking that's like, well, if I'm not being individualistic, then that means I always have to be thinking of the group. And so I do feel that there is, for some of you, this confliction of like, oh, I don't know that I can take care of myself right now because there are other things, other people, and other events and other whatever, that need my attention. And I can't be so individualistic. But I want to encourage you to, to take care of yourself in ways that actually allow you to show up in the world the way that you want to. I feel like you need a little bit more than what you have in life right now. And that's okay, and it's okay to feel that, and don't feel guilty about that, okay? Explore that. I feel like that's the thing that's making you feel trapped, is that you feel guilty about exploring the things that make you feel fulfilled. But that is actually a very healthy thing to do, is to find the things that make you feel fulfilled. No matter what's going on in life around you. If you have the ability to find fulfillment, not everybody does. But if you do have the ability to find fulfillment, then it is your response. It's only on you. You're the only one who can do that. And I do think that you're here because you have the ability to find fulfillment. So next I'm going to ask about your friendships and your relationships, and how this mentality and everything that you're learning in your romantic relationship, how is this translating to your friends and family right now? How is this translating to your friends and family? We've got the Devil card. I'm telling you, with this, the shadow side is also the Devil card, basically, in this deck. There is definitely a feeling of being trapped. But with this feeling of being trapped and with the energy of the Devil card, you're also learning to free yourself. You're learning to free yourself. Anything else you want to tell us? We got the Three of Swords in reverse. You're feeling very alienated from your immediate, like your family, your friends, your immediate community. Yeah, what is the... What is the advice moving forward with their friends and family? I feel like you've always felt like an outsider when it comes to your friends and family, always. And right now, you feel, again, like you're on the outside, or like they'll never allow you to be who you're meant to be. You have the Ace of Cups in reverse. You definitely need a new approach, like emotionally and intuitively. I feel that your relationship with your family has actually hindered your intuition a lot because they really discourage you from being yourself. They've really, you know, not embraced your identity fully, maybe. Whatever that means to you. And right now, ooh, there we go, 8 of Pentacles. I feel that right now you're being called to actually connect more with chosen family than with like your family. Like with a community outside of like who your nuclear family was growing up. Some of you here maybe like may never have actually been connected with your nuclear family. You may have bounced around between like foster homes or actually like, you know, been adopted and felt like displaced in many ways. Or I do feel like a sense of displacement actually coming up for some people. For some of you, that's actually also going to be like immigration for some reason. That's coming up as well. But there's definitely a community for you to rely on that is outside of that nuclear family structure. Whether you recognize it or not, they are there. Please clarify the Ace of Cups in reverse. All right, yeah, there's definitely, we've got karma here. There's definitely something that is coming back around. Like, I think that your relationship with your family is coming back around. There's something in the works, but right now you're having to rely more on like friends and chosen family than like your nuclear family or like the people you grew up with. Maybe nuclear family isn't the way to put it, because this could just also have to do with people that like you grew up in this. All right, sorry, my phone ran out of storage in the middle of recording, and the video just turned off. So I had to do some things, but we're back. So I was saying that there's something coming back around, and I feel that that's the relationship with your family. There's something in the works that you don't see regarding relationships, especially with your family. And it's not time to see. I don't think that it's something you're necessarily even blocking yourself from seeing at this point. I just think it's like kind of up in the air. Sorry about all the knocking. The heaters are going crazy. It's getting kind of cold over here today. But yeah, so I don't think it's something you're blocking yourself from seeing necessarily. I think it's just like something that's kind of up in the air. It's uncertain right now. So we'll continue checking back in with that energy as the days progress for the end of February. But for right now, that's what I'm seeing regarding family. There's definitely friends around that you have that they're more like of an unconventional family. And you're very connected to spirit, I feel like, and there's like a lot of spirits that try to connect with you. I do feel that there's also like a lot of connection to the land. So for some of you, like your actual friends may be like wood nymphs and animals and plant spirits and things like that. But I see humans in there too, so that's not the only thing that's going on. But there's a lot more. The energy here is that there's a lot more there than you even really think. Like if you were to list out all of the friends and like entities that you can consider friends, then you would actually feel very rich in the way that you in your world. So actually that brings me back a little bit to the message of koi fish spirit, of being like super abundant, like and like in manifesting abundance, actually like already manifest, like starting from a place where you're manifesting, where you're grateful for abundance in your life. So it's like the concept of like being rich, and richness comes in many forms. Now, I think that some people are afraid to embrace the feeling of like finding richness in little mundane things in life. Like saying like, well, I'm so rich because I have so many friends. Because then, you know, you kind of think that, well, then maybe that's the only richness you'll have. That's the only abundance you'll have. But the truth is that manifesting being rich in your like reality, like financially, you have to like start from a place of like understanding what rich feels like in your body, because the universe doesn't speak English or Spanish or any human language. The universe speaks vibrations and feelings. And so the feeling of being rich is what's going to bring more richness into your life, okay? So that is actually, I think, really interesting that it is really connecting to the koi fish spirit. And, you know, like that brings me back to the romantic relationship. I feel that you need to actually like find ways to like see the ways that you already are fulfilled in your relationship, rather than focusing on all the ways you don't feel fulfilled. And that will cultivate more more of a feeling of fulfillment. When it comes to your family, the same thing, or like your friends, like you may feel that you don't have, like you're not in a good place to manifest a relationship with your family again, but you do have a lot more friends than you even know, and to actually feel that love, helps to manifest more of that. So yeah, I feel like that's how that's connecting. And so I want to branch out a little bit more and see how all of this connects to your relationship with your local community. This is going to be outside of the friends and family. We have the Page of Wands in reverse coming out immediately. This is like, you're kind of getting started on some things, but you're more in a place of Queen of Pentacles, of needing self-care. Four of Cups. You're definitely having difficulty seeing what's there. I feel that you don't like where you live. You don't like where you live, and so you might not be like very connected, like plugged into the community, and you spend a lot more time by yourself. You are the queen of self-care, regardless of what your gender is. Like you're very grounded in your self-care routine. But yeah, there's some good things about the place that you live, but you really have a difficult time seeing them. And I do feel that you're in an energy of kind of, being ungrateful for the place that you live, or maybe like just complaining about it so much. This could also have to do with like if you're complaining about your job, or the things going on in your neighborhood or whatever. Anything else you want to tell us about the relationships with the community? Eight of Pentacles in reverse. Yeah, I feel like you really don't want to be plugged into the community or like do any work in the community, but I do feel that there's this undercurrent of like you being needed in it. But it's like you're so, I feel like honestly your mindset is the issue here, that you are kind of pessimistic. I hate to say that, because I don't think that you really intend to be or want to be or even know that you're being just pessimistic. But there is like I feel like you've been hurt, like, or you felt burned in some way, even just by the universe, like maybe because you felt so burned by your family and so trapped by your family. That's kind of like made you feel like things don't work out for you. And so then in general, you just kind of look around at your relationship with discontentment, your family with discontentment. You kind of don't see how many friends you have. The community that you live in, you like don't really like it. There's like this sense and this air of misery that, like that is partially because of your mindset. Now, I'm fully aware that there are some people that are miserable and they have like every reason and right to feel miserable. But I really get the sense in this reading that even if there are things that other people have done to wrong you, that there is a level of you are trapped in the cycle of misery. And so I think that that's why Koi Fish Spirit actually comes out to say like, hey, look, there is enough for you to feel fulfillment. But you have to, and I've heard your request. The universe has heard your request to feel fulfillment. But you're definitely feeling this restlessness or this like discontent with the world right now, I think, like at large. And I think that that's for a reason. I think that like, you're the caterpillar in the cocoon that's like about to come out, and and be birthed into that beautiful butterfly. And so there's like no room for you in here. And that's why you're feeling so uncomfortable, because there isn't really a lot of room for you to move right now. And I feel that especially in your family life, and in the community that you're in. I feel like you feel very stunted. Maybe it was like the way you grew up, or like the place you grew up, and the system that you grew up in, you know, like all of that. It's just like, it makes you feel very stunted, and you're just like dying to come out of whatever this is. And you just have to be careful that in the process that you're not blaming everything and everyone around you, because that's not going to help you grow through this situation. What's going to help you grow is actually putting in the work to create fulfillment or abundance for yourself. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and ask some advice about what you can do. Advice moving forward about your local community. I feel like some of you are definitely moving. If you're that discontent where you are, like, and it does feel that restrictive, I feel that you are definitely being called to move away from the location that you're at, move out of the home that you're in, something like that. Maybe like just move to a new home or a new neighborhood, new town, could be. And Spirit, what's the advice moving forward for their relationship with the community, with their local community? What's the advice moving forward? Four of Pentacles in reverse. There's definitely a discontentment with your finances, with your ability to grow, and you need to take notice of that. There's nothing wrong with being discontent. I don't want to, villainize you for being discontent. I think that, the reason you're not content is because you want more, and there's nothing wrong with that. And you should create more for yourself. I think you're trying to. We've got the Knight of Cups. Knight of Cups is someone who's like, again, Cups is about intuition and emotion. Knight of Cups moves from intuition, moves from emotion. Like, the Knight of Cups can be a little bit swayed by their own emotions. But I do feel that your emotions are leading you somewhere. Okay, so it's not about, when I'm talking about, building fulfillment for yourself and creating contentment and seeing contentment where you are, sometimes we're just not content where we are, and nothing is going to change that. And your feelings are always just telling you what your needs are. So it's like, if you're discontent in the life that you're living right now, or like the place that you're living, well, Knight of Cups is about traveling. But yeah, if you're feeling discontent in the place that you're living right now, if there's something that you can do to make yourself content, like that, then that's like, okay, that's within your power to create for yourself. But if you can't create that for yourself, then like maybe the discontentment is, like I said, telling you that it's time to move from that place. So I do feel that you've been making moves, or that you've been thinking about it, and that you kind of just need like a little bit of confirmation of like, this is like, it's just time to move. Let's give us some clarification on direction. All right, we have the Sun in reverse. Kind of feel like this is like, going west from wherever you are, going west somewhere. Oof, a bunch of them fell out. I'm going to go over them real quick because I think they want to be heard. Yeah, it's somewhere that is Six of Wands. It's like somewhere that brings you good feelings. It's triumph. It's like a homecoming almost. We've got the Knight of Wands. Definitely like traveling quickly, speedy travel. There's definitely a sunset behind him. I feel it. This is like somewhere in the west for sure. Or if you are in the west, that's interesting. It's like, I feel like this might even be like cross-country traveling, because it's like almost like from one end to the other, the one to the other, which actually makes me think of, is it like from the river to the sea, Gaza will be free? You might be moving like abroad even. You might feel like a call to something bigger than yourself. Five of Swords in reverse is about a conflict. Interesting, a conflict or war. And remember, these could also be metaphors that apply to you as well. Then we've got the Four of Cups. Four of Cups again. It's like not seeing something that's right in front of you that is like good for you. Like not seeing the good. And then we've got Eight of Pentacles in reverse, which we also have as part. So these are confirmations about the Eight of Pentacles and the Four of Cups. You just being discontent, really, and like not wanting to put in the work. I feel like that's kind of like what they're saying. The spirits are saying even about like your, they've been kind of like telling you to move. They've been telling you to move, and I feel like you've been fighting it, and you have been, like really just not seeing the blessings in front of you, and having a hard time like putting in the work to like basically to take the steps that it takes to move. It's like not easy to move. It's like it's expensive. It like is uncertain. So yeah, you're being called out as like not following your intuition. There are things that have just kind of like fallen into your lap that I think that you have like kind of slept on because there is still a bunch of work that you would have to do to make this work out for yourself. Yeah, and if this is not, I really do feel like it is about a physical move. I'm just gonna say that. I think it's about a physical move. Yeah, so then I'm gonna say that if it's not about moving, like if it doesn't resonate to you that this is about moving, like your location, then I do see a lot of signs that it has to do with business. So this could also be about leaving a job. You could be very called to leave a job because it's a little bit too mundane for you, or it just takes up all your time when you should be doing something else. Following your intuition somewhere else. So yeah, if it's not about moving your home, then I do think it's about like a job, a career move of some sort. Okay. So finally, I'm just gonna ask one more question, and that is about your relationship to the world at large. What's their relationship to the world at large? Okay, we've got judgment, resurrection. I think that you are engaging with the world again. I think you're re-engaging. And it's interesting because we did get the judgment as karma when talking about your family relationships. I think the more you engage with the world, actually, the more that family community comes back into harmony with you, whatever that means. It doesn't necessarily mean that like your family comes back into your life if they're not there or something like that, but it just means that like you actually see and experience the richness in that area of your life. And then we have also the King of Wands, someone who's very intuitive, someone who's very creative, very passionate. I think that you have a lot to offer, a lot to give, especially when it comes to creativity, and that following your passions is super important right now. Super important. Standing in your power. I think you are standing in your power when it comes to matters in the world. I think, okay, so I do think that like your relationship to the world is very, very, it's like very awakened, it's very heightened. And that's why these other areas have maybe been neglected. And when you are so plugged into the world events, where it seems like everything's going wrong, I do think that that kind of like definitely can be a very depressing thing. You know, it's like can't really be helped because there are terrible things going on, or things that are very difficult to navigate. So I can see now why it's making sense, why there's so much discontentment, and why, you know, like why you feel like you're needing to pour into yourself when it comes to your own relationship, when it comes to like even interacting with your community. It's like you're not really focused as much on them as you are on yourself, because what you're really focused on and the thing that's outside of yourself is the world and world events, and what can you create to help the situation, and what can you put out there. Some of you also may be like creatives, like musicians or like performers, or someone who's like more in the public eye or does something that is more, you know, you want it to be more in the public eye, you know, or like putting things out there. You may like run some sort of social media or YouTube channel, like a TikTok or something like that, where you're putting out messages or you're sharing research or sharing news or whatever it is. You are a lot more plugged into the world than your own community or your own family or even yourself. Your not yourself, but like your closest like interpersonal relationships is what I'm saying. Yeah, so that's the, I feel like that's the relationship that you're in. And I feel, well, I just want a little bit real quick some clarification on your role in your relationship with the world. It's like your role. I feel like you definitely feel that you have a clear purpose. So what's that? You have the King of Pentacles. Creating and building something sustainable. I do think that like maybe for some of you, like the business world, it's like, you know, the way that employees get treated, it's not very good. And I feel like that you're somebody who like cares about that. Yeah, you're the Empress. You're like, I don't want to work so hard to survive, and people shouldn't work so hard to survive. So I'm going to do everything I can to help change that. I do feel like you could be someone like that, or just like someone who cares about sustainable lifestyles. That's something that's like a passion of yours, I believe. Just like sustainability. and whatever capacity that means for you. Like some of you, it's like sustainable lifestyles. Others of you, it's going to be like sustainable ecology or like, you know, environmentalism. There is definitely a lot of environmentalism I see here. And I kind of saw that before. You could be someone who has like indigenous roots as well. Or like, you know, an indigenous mindset. You like work with the land a lot. Land spirits even. Yeah, I feel like you definitely, even that if that's not the only thing that you feel called to, that is something that like everyone who's watching this pile, and like if this has resonated to for you this far, and then like everyone who's watching should also resonate with that as well. That like, you know, trying to build something sustainable, and that is kind of like a platform that you have in like, that's more of like your public platform. And then finally, I'm gonna ask for some advice on how to move forward in the world, how to better your relationship with the world. With the Three of Pentacles, you have to just like build slowly. A lot of you want to be like getting things done very, very quickly because there's a lot of things that are going on right now that you want to affect and want to change right now. I do think that that's where this like feeling of restlessness comes from in all the other areas of your life, because you want things to change now in your relationship with the world, but you still have some cultivating of skills to do for sure. You have to be practicing. You have to actually like figure out how to stay positive for yourself. I am seeing some more travel involved with this Six of Swords. There's definitely patience that needs to be had. You're on this journey. Part of the self-care that I see around all of this, I do also see the Sun card here, right? I think that you are learning how to have a little bit more balance in the way that you approach your relationship to the world, and that goes hand in hand with the self-care. Being able to see there's always going to be negatives, so being able to see the positives, you know, with this like koi fish spirit, that's kind of like, you know, manifesting more of the positives by being able to see the positives, being able to see the beauty in the world. So even though there's a lot of negative stuff going on out there, being able to see the beauty in the world and the positive is actually important for you to be able to manifest that more, not just for yourself, but for other people. I am really happy to see that you are so plugged in to the world and like what you want, as like your larger picture. But I do think that if all your other relationships are suffering in your relationship to the place that you live in, the place that you work, and the people that you relate to, and all of those things, if those things are suffering, then your ability to manifest positivity into the world is actually going to suffer as well. It's just like kind of simple math. So while you are somebody who, you know, you definitely have a bigger purpose and you see things outside of yourself, it's really important that you also pour into the smaller relationships as well, on the smaller scale. That is part of actually being fully integrated, part of the global community. You have to actually be, you know, to be able to take care of yourself and your own relationships, your interpersonal relationships, as well. It's just part of being a healthy global citizen. All right. So we're again moving through this energy. Make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe so that you can, so that I can pick up on your energy as we go forward, and we can kind of like revisit all these things as the rest of February plays out. So thanks for being here, and I will see you at your next reading. All right, pile 3. I'm definitely going to need a break after these February readings. March might be a little bit quiet because I'm definitely putting my heart and soul into these. But hopefully this will help us get through all of the energy in March. I find it really appropriate that my last reading is going to be this amethyst point, because amethyst is great for the intuition, opening the crown chakra. It can help with psychic downloads. It also can calm anxiety, but it definitely can help like with communicating with spirit. And this is probably the most intuitive time of the night for me because it's pretty late at night. I'm pretty tired, but I want to get this done so that I can publish it in the morning. I do feel that this is like a very intuitive pile of people that have ended up here, and that the most profound messages from Spirit are coming out now as the end of the night it's pretty much the end of my night as my night is coming to a close. So we're going to talk about the squirrel spirit card that you chose, with the number 53, 5 being a number, 57, 5 being a number that it connects to the divine, and 7 is like perfect cycles. Obviously, like we know it as good luck and abundance, but it's also like it's associated with this circle. Yeah, perfect cycles and perfect endings. And when you put them together, that's 12, which is 1 for new beginnings, and 2 is like relationships. And then when you add them all together, that's 3. So I have a feeling some of you who watch pile 1 are also here in pile 3 because of the 3 energy. There's just like a lot of growth and expansion right now. But if this is the only one you felt called to watch, then that's great too. This card is in reverse, so it's protection mode, protection message. So I'm going to read it from that perspective. The unpredictability of life can shake your confidence in yourself and your potential for handling the challenges that come your way. Does the thought of not having enough or being enough make you squirrely? Have you forgotten all your strengths, wisdom, and resources? You have come so far on your wits and creativity, making use of all your potential and all the spirit presence and all that Spirit presents you to help you through life's trying times. It's time to help you through, it's time to look back on your life and remember how your needs have always been met for the highest good, even in the most challenging times. Life loves you, and so many treasures are hidden in plain sight, ready to be revealed when you most need them. So relax. Squirrel Spirit wants you to know you are poised and ready for whatever is coming next. So trust in yourself and trust that Spirit has your back. I definitely feel like you're going through a big transition. A lot of us are, but you are going through something really, really big, and it's maybe causing you to doubt yourself a little bit. And there's definitely been, I can sense that you have had a lot of spiritual encounters, and you like had a lot of things that have happened in your life that it's like, oh, that's coincidental, like pretty coincidental, you know, like and at the time maybe they were like very empowering, but you you've kind of forgotten about them, or maybe you didn't even really take notice of them, but you kind of start to remember them every once in a while, I feel. I think that you're just like kind of in a moment of needing a little bit of confidence and guidance and just being more connected to source. So I'm going to ask about who you are just to make sure that you're in the right place. Who is watching pile 3? We've got the 4 of Wands in reverse. 4 being a number that's connected to love, to stability. This is a card of a happy and harmonious home life, no matter what direction it's facing. Ace of Swords. You are a very, you're a winner. You're a very triumphant person in all ways. And you definitely have the gift of discernment, I see. You're someone who has a good head on their shoulders. You do your best to create a stable and happy home, for sure. You may live near the mountains. I feel like people tell you that you carry yourself with a lot of, it's like you may have been called royalty before, but also you just like carry yourself with a lot of dignity and grace. I feel that you move gracefully. You may be like a dancer or an athlete in some way. I feel that you could be a very agile person. Very energetic. You could have an air sign in your like sun, moon, rising, or Venus. You also could have fire sign. Yeah. I feel that you're like a very mysterious person, that people actually see you as something maybe that you're not even. Like you feel a little bit more unsure of yourself than the way that other people see you. And I feel that people admire the life that you've built and created for yourself and the stability that you have in your life. More than you even like feel that you have that stability for yourself. Okay, if that resonates with you, then I'm gonna continue with the reading. And if it doesn't, then please check out one of the other piles if you haven't already. Okay, so let's get a little bit of information on who your partner is. Who is pile number 3's partner? Who is pile number 3's partner? Your partner is someone who's very anxious. They might even be an insomniac. Yeah. They're carrying a lot on their plate. I think they don't really know like what to let go of. They have some trouble like setting like healthy mental boundaries for themselves. I think they get caught up in other people's drama quite a lot. Maybe even your drama. But I don't think it's really their drama. I don't think that they're as much like upset about what is going on with them as they are about like what's going on around them. It could be that, you know, they're getting caught up in your drama, or it could be that they are getting caught up in some work drama, or you know, or that they are upset about the state of the world. It could be something like that even. But I feel like they definitely they carry the burdens of others and have a difficult time discerning when to carry the burden and when to let it go. That's what I feel. All right, so I want to ask about the current state of the relationship. What's the state of the relationship right now? Between pile 3 and their partner. We have the Knave of Earth. That's like the Page of Wands. It's like still in the learning stages of each other. I think this might be like kind of a new relationship for some of you, or a new phase in the relationship for others of you. Like just starting to come into a little bit of maturity. We have the Water of Cups in reverse. It's the 10 of Cups in reverse. That one has nudity on it, so I can't show it to you. And then we also have the 2 of Cups, or 2 of Water in reverse, which also has nudity on it. Cannot show it to you. If you know anything about astrology and you know anything about their chart, this person might have like a Venus in Pisces. Is something I'm seeing. With the 2 of Cups in reverse and the 10 of Cups in reverse, I see like the 10 of Cups, it's like, you know, your vision. I feel like you have not yet, like this relationship isn't really everything that you expected it to be, or that it isn't everything that you like want, but I see you as someone, like you want this relationship, so I do think that you kind of, like you want to stay in it and you want to stick it out and see what you can build here. Because you have started to build something together, and I see that being, you know, like you're seeing progress, I think. But there is a bit of like a shadowy aspect to this relationship, and I do think that it's the anxiety, the thing that I can see as anxiety in your partner. I think that that does affect you, even though things should be like okay, you know, but maybe the fact that they're such an anxious person, and that they like really, you know, I feel like you know how to pull yourself out of the drama of others, so you're maybe like a more stable presence in this person's life, and that's kind of like why you get along, because like you're stable and they're anxious, and so you can be stable, the stability to their anxiety. And you know, but I do think that like there is an aspect of that that still weighs on you, and just like something that needs to be addressed. We'll get a little clarification on that. All right, Spirit, please tell me, give me some clarification on this Knave of Earth card, the Page of Pentacles. We have the Emperor in reverse, meaning that I think that like it's easy for one of you to like kind of take on responsibilities that are not yours. I think that sometimes you are taking on responsibilities that are not yours because of the, like, for the sake of your partner. But I think that your partner really takes on the responsibility of everything that's not theirs. So that seems to be like a major theme of right now in your relationship. Maybe something that you're talking about, even, like something that you guys are working through. But I do see there being like you're starting to figure out how to build something stable there together. It's just like taking some effort. And so what's the advice moving forward? What's the advice moving forward? I sense that the squirrel spirit card, it's like kind of telling you that you have what it takes to, move through this energy of like being a little bit codependent, or, remaining stable while your partner is codependent, or like, moving, like, learning how to grow out of an anxious state of being. We've got 5 of air, meaning 5 of wands, which I can't show you. For some of you, if you know the birth chart of somebody, Venus in Aquarius might mean something. The 5 of wands is a card of conflict. And when it's like in reverse, it is more of like an argument. But this is a transformative argument. Yeah, the Tower is coming out. The Tower is coming out. I couldn't really tell how, like, whether it fell upside down or right side up. So honestly, I feel like that this indicates that there's like, this argument is causing like stress, definitely stress. I feel like maybe that this is an argument that you've avoided, or that has been avoided just generally by both of you, or something like that, because of the stressful nature of it, and like neither one of you really want to put that stress on your partner. I think that you're like avoiding it because of your partner, and your partner's avoiding it because of them. But that, because it's like you don't want to put them under so much stress, because maybe they're someone who's like prone to like getting sick when they're stressed or something like that, because they have so much stress and so much worry. But it is like an argument that has been avoided, that still needs to be had, okay? Because just because everything kind of like crumbles and doesn't remain the same, it's like it's not going to remain the same after that argument. But that's not a bad thing. It could be actually a really good thing. So it could result in a breakup, but it could also result in you getting stronger. So even if it's like you don't want to argue with your partner, bringing up something that they don't necessarily want to talk about, it's still necessary for you and for the relationship. Thought I saw, yep, I did. I see that after this relationship, there's going to still be like admiration for each other. We see the Fool in reverse. But this still doesn't really tell me the full outcome. I have 9 of air, 9 of swords in reverse. 9 being a number of intuition. Swords meaning discernment. Yeah, there's definitely like there's some mystery. There's some mystery surrounding what the outcome is going to be of this conflict, but you're being asked to have it anyway. And to there's the reason that you're not being given all the answers up front about how to handle it is because you have to trust that you actually know how to handle it. You've like been working on yourself for so long, and you're such like you are in such a stable presence for yourself that you can trust yourself to show up the way that is necessary. You can trust yourself to you can actually trust yourself to treat this person with compassion and love, and you can trust yourself also to treat yourself with compassion and love, and to be fair to yourself. And you know, this might be like some sort of situation where you just need to like, it's really just like you setting boundaries with like the way that like maybe like if this person is getting caught up in other people's drama, and like, and that's just not something that you do for yourself to be healthy, then like it may be something like where you need to actually set some boundaries with them, where you're like, don't talk to me about that drama with your friends. I can't get involved in that. Like it might have to be something like that. I'm not exactly sure. This seems like so vague. But I'm gonna trust that you know what it means. Okay. So next I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna branch out a little bit, okay? Because all of this stuff that you are learning in your relationship with your romantic relationship, February is all about relationships, and so I would like to branch out into your other relationships. So let's talk about your friends and your family. How is this lesson that you're learning in your romantic relationships affecting your relationships with your friends and your family? We've got the 9 of Wands in reverse. There's definitely some arguments going on. There's arguments going on in your friend or family system. And I say friends or family because, friends and family can mean anything. Friends can mean anything to anybody. Family can mean anything to anybody. Someone can be your chosen family. Someone can be, like you may differentiate between blood family and, friends as family. Like, so I say friends and family because really it's your personal community, okay? So there's definitely like some arguments or like mental dilemmas going on in this. A feeling of like fighting something that like fighting presences that you don't even know are there, or like arguments that happen where like you guys don't even know what you're arguing about anymore. We've got the Page of Wands in reverse. A lot of immaturity. I think there's a lot of love, but a lot of immaturity in the way that love is expressed. So I think that you've come from a family that hasn't known how to have healthy conflict and how to have good loving expression. Okay, interesting. We have the Knight of Cups in reverse. I feel that you do have at least one friend who feels like they do their best to like be there for you. We have the Two of Swords in reverse. I feel like you have a hard time seeing that though. I think that you've been so rejected by family that like when other people outside of your family try to connect with you, it's hard for you to see that. It's hard for you to believe that they would actually not betray you, or that they would be good to you in some way. So I think maybe even that's why you're okay with you've been accepting that anxious energy without like boundaries, maybe from your partner, is kind of like the vibe I'm getting. Really, because I feel like you don't feel like you're good enough. Like that other like people won't like you, so that there's an aspect of accepting the anxiety from your partner, that is like, I don't want to rock the boat. And also feeling like, well, what can I do? They have anxiety. Yeah, I can't really fix that. But not setting boundaries between them might be like, an indication that like you just need to like, I feel it's like there's a need for confidence here. There's a need for really, I'm seeing a lot of blue, which is an indicator of like throat chakra stuff. Like, so a need to like just speak your truth to your family and your friends. But I do feel like, let me see, let me get a little bit of clarification on this Knight of Cups, because I feel like that like means something a little bit deeper. We've got the Hermit in reverse, meaning that it's time to come out of solitude. It's time to come out of solitude, because I feel like that you have probably been someone who's relied a lot. There feels to be like an energy of codependence in your relationships, and so I feel that you've had a hard time trusting people, which I can totally understand if you're in this like codependent family, codependent energy. But because of that, you've been isolated. Like you've been isolated to just like your family, or like just the people that were originally introduced to you as friends, or like the one friend you have, or something like that. And there are more options to you out there. But in order to find them, you actually need to come out of solitude. And I think that you're ready to come out of solitude. You know that, and you're ready for it, because you're in a more stable place in your interpersonal relationships, and you're in a place where you are ready to accept whatever the outcome is between you and this person, because you do recognize that there are boundaries that need to be set. So it's really just about confidence and being able to believe in yourself. We've got the Seven of Wands in reverse. You're definitely clearing away something, like you're clearing away the old, making way for something new. The Wheel in reverse, the Wheel of Fortune in reverse, basically meaning that like, what goes up must come down. If you're feeling like you're in a down period right now, like this is just like part of the cycle, but you are like, it's like the momentum that you're in, even if you're in a downswing, it's like the momentum is carrying you right back up. So there is like something having to do with like elevation coming with even feeling that you're like alone and like in this down period of time. I feel like mostly what it is that you're learning how to have confidence in yourself. That is the area in which you're growing and expanding, learning how to have confidence in yourself and how to speak up for yourself, how to like actually express yourself. We have actually these just jumped out. Also is the Nine of Pentacles in reverse and the Page of Pentacles. So I do also think that like This does have something to do with your relationship to money and finances as well. I feel like that is changing alongside all the things that are going on with your family and friends in your life right now. You've had like some false beliefs that you've carried around from your past, like from where you come from. And so whether it's that you like grew up poor and you just like feel like you just don't have what it takes to ever, be financially comfortable, or whether it's that you grew up, the opposite. You grew up pretty wealthy, and now you like have, uh, the pressure to keep up with that, or you it could be like really anything, like involving your beliefs around money. So there are definitely some false beliefs around money that you're carrying around, but you're starting to notice them, and I can see you like picking up on ways in which you are creating some sort of financial stability for yourself. And for some of you, I'm definitely feeling that like you're learning to save more, and you're making better choices with your money, and you're being a little bit less impulsive. But there is still shadow work that has to be done around that. There's like, the feelings of inadequacy that you have to look at within yourself. Yeah, and we'll continue to like explore these relationships. But I think that your relationship with money is directly connected to your relationship with your family. And that it's time to come out of solitude, it seems like. But I'm also going to go ahead and get some information about like some advice on the next steps in your family and friend relationships. All right, we've got 8 of Wands. There's definitely a lot of work that you're doing, and there's like this energy of having to go for it and just like reach. There's a time to like do like the slow and steady effort. There's a time to like really push it, and there's a time when you push it and you gotta push it some more. And this is a time when you just gotta push it, you gotta reach for the thing, you gotta grab whatever you can grab onto. And I really do feel like that is about following your life's passion. Not allowing the voices of your past, of your family, to hinder you from following what you want to do. Sometimes, as much as they love us, our family can sometimes say things that discourage us, even if they don't mean to. And so it's up to us to prove them wrong, and to show them that we can do that thing, and that we will excel at that. We have the Ace of Cups, which is definitely abundant. It's like you have everything you need. This is definitely also a new beginning in your emotional health, and that really has a lot to do with your ability to create more stability and financial abundance for yourself. Is being grounded in your emotions, to be able to like follow your intuition, instead of being from a place where you're feeling scattered and stressed. And then we also have this Queen of Swords in reverse. Watching your tone is going to be really important right now. I feel like you are somebody who, you're good with your words, so with great power comes great responsibility, and you need to be careful about the way that you use your words. I think that that's also having to do, a lot of times I read that card as like, you know, the way that you use your words when you're speaking to other people. Like, make sure you're not being too, ooh, excuse me, make sure you're not being too argumentative, or like, you know, that you're listening, and you're listening to understand and not listening to respond type of thing. Or like, make sure you're not like calling people out their name. But really, what I'm feeling with all of this is that because we're talking about the relationship with your family, you need to be careful about the way that you talk to yourself. This Queen of Swords in reverse to me is talking to me really about self-talk. And this is a very important time for you to have good affirmations about yourself, your self-worth, and your relationship to money. Some affirmations that I like money affirmations, are money loves to be in my hands, money loves to be spent by me, money flows to me easily because it loves to be spent by me. And you know, like self-affirmations. It's, for me, self-affirmation, well, one of the most powerful ones that I have been using is, I do everything right. Everything I do is right. Everything I do is right. And like saying it when I didn't really believe it yet, you know, it was like, it felt like a fake it till you make it thing. But then when I would do something right, or I would listen to my intuition, and my intuition had guided me to like something that did turn out in my favor, I would look at that and go, everything I do is right. So then that would give that phrase a little more power. And then the next time that I did something that was great, I would say, everything I do is right. And then it did have the power when I was in a moment where I didn't think that I was doing everything right. Or like I was worried about making the right decision or something like that. I could say that affirmation to myself, everything I do is right. And then that would tell me, like, you know, when I listen to my intuition, it would remind me, when I listen to my intuition, I choose the right thing. I make the right choices, so I don't have to overthink it too much. And if I make a mistake, I think that's right too, because I needed to learn from it, or something like that. So everything I do is right. So that's a powerful affirmation for me as well. There might be some that resonate with you, that you already know of at this point. But I would definitely recommend using your self-talk as a way to like alchemize that energy that's like, I'm down on myself, I don't like myself, blah blah blah, whatever. Turn it into, everything I do is right. Okay, so then I'm gonna ask about now your relationship, and how all of this is affecting the relationship to your community, the larger community, your neighborhood, the area you live in, the town, the county. Page of Pentacles. I feel like you're engaged in work and business for sure. Starting to get more grounded in the community, building something there. You may be starting some sort of a project. And maybe not even a project. It could also just be that you got a library card and now you're going to the library more. Or if you're a student and you're going out to study, you're going to like the coffee shop, and you know, you're creating relationships with some of the business owners because like they know your name now, you know. We've got the Lovers card in reverse. Definitely something you're not seeing about yourself, because the Lovers could be like very much about mirror energy. We have the Justice card. I feel like there's definitely some imbalance in the way that you relate to the community. That maybe, I feel like you don't really see yourself in it very much. yeah, I feel like you don't see yourself in it, and that there is like, it feels like there is a sense of injustice. You may be like a person of color in a place that's like extremely racist. Seven of Swords. You are definitely fighting for your place out here, I think. And Seven of Pentacles in reverse. Interesting that we got 2 sevens back to back. You're definitely in an abundant energy. I feel like you're definitely working on something. Some sort of like, I feel like it's like some sort of a passion project. It could be like social justice, honestly. Social justice could be definitely big for a lot of you. There's a lot of mirroring energy. Please clarify all this mirroring energy. Seven of Pentacles in reverse. Came out with all the mirroring energy, but we also have here the Five of Pentacles, which is like a desolation. Needing to be guided by spirit at this time. There's something that you're not cultivating, like a skill, or maybe you've been putting effort into something that you feel like it's not fruitful right now, but you've been definitely trying it. Like, you may be someone who's like trying to start a business locally in your community, or you may be trying to get a promotion at work. Maybe you're trying to do something new in work. So I feel like that's going to have to do with your advice. I'm going to ask the Modern Witch Tarot what the advice is moving forward in your community. Eight of Swords. It's like you're tied up in something. That's why I feel like some of you are business owners, or you may have a lot of debt. Six of Swords. Something to do with your relationships, maybe business relationships, or your relationship to money. I think it's your relationship to money. The Chariot in reverse. You have to be careful about the way that you're using your mind. And I think that that's exactly what's happening here, is that you're having difficulty in your community, like your larger community, because you're trying to either start a business or be plugged into the job that you're in right now, or just like it could be something like that, something to that effect. And you, it's hard for you to like move past the stage you're in whatever job or like whatever way it is that you're making money, and also like connecting with the community, because I feel like making money in business and stuff is connected to your community. It's just like, I really feel that this is where like you're lacking confidence, because you really just don't feel that you have the ability to make this work. But like, and so like when you ask about business, like, oh, what can I do? What can I do? Like, you're wanting an answer like, okay, so Go make this product and you know, or go do this service for people, and then you'll make all this money. You want to hear that from the universe, but the universe is like, no, you can have whatever you want, but you have to actually, you have to believe it. You have to believe that you can have what you want. And the reason you haven't been able to believe it is because of these false beliefs that you carried over from your family. Okay, so that is again the other reason why Squirrel Spirit came up here. Believe in yourself. That's like the tagline here. Believe in yourself. Needing to believe in yourself when it comes to your relationship to the community. And you will learn that over time as you continue to work on the relationship to your family and to really like to yourself and the, like your self-talk and the way that you talk to yourself, the way that like your family did, or the way that your family talks to themselves. Okay, so all of that in mind, I want to see how this is affecting your relationship to the world. How is this affecting your relationship to the world? We got the Six of Pentacles. You're in a very generous era right now. You're definitely willing to give, especially of your material wealth and material possessions. Then we also have the Four of Pentacles. It's like, that's like wealth that isn't going anywhere. Financial stability. Queen of Swords in reverse. Which we got when we were talking about your self-talk. There's definitely, I think, a larger dream that you have of doing good for the world with financial stability. And so, like, that's how your self-talk relates to everything. Because it's like, if you can work on your relationship to money, and the self-talk, your relationship to yourself, then your money begins to increase, and you actually, I can see this becoming something where you're able to like give to others in the way that you want to, and you're able to give to the people who you love in the way that you want to. Just like there's financial stability in that. And then on the bottom of the deck, we have the Queen of Pentacles, the Queen of Self-Care. Love her. And that's like the aspect that you don't see. Where it's like, in all of this right now, the thing that you're needing more of is self-care. And I feel like you're just learning now how self-care actually affects your ability to show up in the world the way that you want to. So I feel like that you are beginning to show up in the world the way that you want to, but that you definitely, for where you want to end up and to be, I think that you actually need to be focusing more on self-care. Just to get a little more clarification or confirmation. Yeah. We have the Ten of Pentacles and the King of Pentacles. It's about following your dream. You have a vision. You have a bigger vision, a wider vision. And it involves a great deal of financial stability, of sustainability, whatever that means to you, that has a wide variety of options, sustainability. But yeah, you're being called to follow that dream, that larger dream. And to do that, you actually have to work on your relationship to money and the self. Okay. We're going to continue moving through this energy over like the next few days for the rest of February. If you're finding this reading and it's, not February, don't even worry about it. You can still watch it. It still applies to you if it applies. Make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe. I'm so tired right now, but I'm glad the messages came out. I'm sorry it was such a long video, but I just really felt like we needed to start exploring some of the wider relationships, like the relationships outside of just our interpersonal ones. So I'll try to keep the rest of them a little bit shorter. But this was, I feel like, a good experience to branch out into, what the greater purpose is and what the energy that we're moving through really is all about, what it really means. So I hope that you will continue to join me on the rest of the journey as we move through this energy. And I will see you in the next reading. Bye.